I have decided today that I'm going to talk about what it means to be a newborn warrior freedom fighter. Okay, I actually have a sister-in-law right now giving birth, and it's just caused me to think about how it is to have a newborn. I've had, one real newborn experience. My second one, my first one was in the NICU for a month, so it hardly counts when you get them back and they're like a month old. But what is it like to have a newborn, and why do you need to be a freedom fighter? So, never at all. This is like if you have your first kid. This is dedicated to all those moms who are about to have their first little newborn babies back at home. And it's a lot, okay? This newborn baby not only wants you around, it was like growing inside you, so it physically wants to be around you, but it actually needs you. You need to be there for it, and it's 24/7. So you need to, at the very beginning, fight for your rights as a newborn mom. You are gonna have to change your life in so many ways. And a lot of these things you can kind of pre-think about, start to prepare for, because you're not gonna have it all figured out at once. But if you have some of it figured out before the baby comes, then you'll be much more well off. Okay, so what am I talking about when I talk about freedoms? Well, you probably want to go to the store at all, ever. And when the newborn's on you and needing your boobs and all the stuff all the time, that's a freedom that you took for granted up until now. And you have to have your support system, be able to have someone who can watch baby for you and know that it's okay, and you need the freedom to just go to the store sometimes when you have your baby. So in order to make this possible though, you have to make sure that your baby can take a bottle. Do you want to be out for a time period where you're missing a feeding, which when they're newborn is 3 hours? It could be more often. If you want that to happen, then your baby has to be able to take a bottle. That's just the end all be all. If you want to go on any sort of vacation within the first year, I needed to repair my relationship with my husband. It's very stressful having kids. Then you need to make sure your baby can take a bottle. Not only just that, you need to make sure your baby can take a bottle and is comfortable with it within the first month. After that, they're gonna have a preference. They might already have a preference, but this is why you have to fight for your rights. Fight for your freedom in the beginning. In order to do that, you have to make sure the baby's comfortable with the bottle. You need to make sure that your husband can feed the baby a bottle, and when it's not just you, because the baby will associate your smell and everything. Let me tell you what, I tried to do this with my second kid, and I was going to, at 6 months, go on a vacation with my husband to Cancun, and I was so excited. We really needed it. We'd had 2 kids really close back to back, and I just felt being pregnant is hard for me. I'm sick. I don't really want to be touched, all those sorts of things. And then you have a newborn where it's you don't get any sleep. You have a crying baby all the time. You're stressed out in many different mental, emotional, physical ways. And I tried to leave my baby with my parents. She's 6 months old. I had fed her a bottle several times. It wasn't on a normal basis, but I had fed her from a bottle. I knew that she could technically drink from a bottle. We left for Cancun, and while we were gone, Margot decided just not to take a bottle at all. And several days passed where my parents were trying to feed her one form and the other, and then it just got to where she was not taking anything, period. So we had to end our trip early and come back, and now I have to live with the guilt of putting my baby in harm's way, not intentionally, but just, she stopped eating. She stopped eating anything and drinking anything, and that's because I didn't fight for my freedom to go on a vacation. If I had, then I would have been able to have a baby that was comfortable with a bottle. Also, you need to fight for your freedom as a mother to have someone else be able to feed the baby, just period, in the very beginning. So you have to get a bottle in there. You have to let dad figure it out and leave the room, leave the house, let him figure it out, because it will open up so much more that you can do. You need to take a shower, shocker. You need to be able to have some form of exercise. You need to not go insane. That's a very important one. And by not going insane, you probably need to take a shower and exercise or get out of the house at all. Another thing is that I found very restrictive was my boobs. I was breastfeeding and I felt chained down by my boobs. I realized in hindsight that if I had taken more time to be preventative about clogged ducts and stuff like that, I think I just got clogged ducts really easily. I ended up getting mastitis, and I just ended up feeling just so stressed if I didn't either pump or feed Margot within a certain period of time, because I felt like there was a bomb gonna explode internally because I didn't do very good preventative self-care. And that's something that you can't even. When your newborn comes home, you will be extremely overwhelmed, unless your baby is a perfect baby, which they do exist, so I've heard. I haven't had one, I don't think. And you're gonna have to figure out how to recover physically from laboring. Whether you had a C-section or a vaginal delivery, you're going to have to recover. Your body's exhausted, and then your baby is not going to let you recover because they're going to be up and wanting to feed. Their schedules are going to be completely flip-flopped. And then if you want the right to sleep at night, you have to fight for your right. I know this sounds ridiculous, and some parenting styles are the baby will tell you, and maybe they will. I don't think I had one that told me any sort of well, I need to be fed this often, and let a baby-led schedule type of thing. I don't think that exists, but I think I've heard about it. But babies can often have their routine completely flip-flopped. You're holding still and sleeping when you're pregnant at night. So then they're finally not being lulled to sleep about you walking around. So they're awake at night. I'm sure you've been woken up by getting kicked a couple times if you've been pregnant. And so their schedule is totally flip-flopped. And you have to unflip-flop their schedule. It's ridiculous. And lots of people don't believe in sleep training when they're really little, and I get that because you're trying to develop your milk production and such, but as soon as possible, if you want the right to sleep, you're going to have to figure out some sort of schedule that works for you and the baby. If this is your second kid, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, or your third kid, because you're going to have kids awake during the day that you have to take care of, so sleeping and napping during the day might not be such an option. I can't even tell you how important these things are. I wish so much for my sister-in-law to be able to have a good experience with her baby, and these aren't things that you necessarily think about when you come home from the hospital, and no one really tells you about that you're going to have to fight for your freedoms. It sounds ridiculous, but everything that you had the right to do whenever you wanted before, it's changed. Now you have a baby. Now you have another person's needs that almost come first because they're going to scream at you until you take care of them. And it's a mind-blowing experience, wonderful experience. You will grow so much as a person. But girl, you fight for your rights. You got this. So if you enjoyed this topic and would like to hear more in regards to parenting, or you feel fired up and you're gonna be a boss woman mom, go ahead and click the link down below, subscribe, and you'll enjoy my parenting style videos and my design videos. And yeah, if you're a fan of both, subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.